We're live, people. Deluded. I'm back again. Shirley's back in the building. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm happy to be back. We finally made it happen. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Like you said, we finally made it happen. I'm happy to have
Mm-hmm.
you here. I'm not happy to have you here because obviously our team hasn't been doing anything to scream and shout about. Let's kick
Mm-hmm.
off there. How you feeling about Arsenal so far
Boy,
this season?
boy, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Amen.
How am I feeling about Arsenal this season, or how am I feeling about Arsenal right now?
Give us both.
All right. How am I feeling about Arsenal this season? We flopped in it. It's a major flop season. Um, just overall, like, didn't meet my expectations just in terms of challenging, for multiple cups, which I think we should. We're in the position now that we should have been challenging on all fronts at this stage of the season. Um, how do I feel about Arsenal now? It's dark. Like,
Very.
injuries. It's dark. Injuries galore. Like I said to you, I'm going to keep it real. We spoke before the stream. I said to you, listen, I haven't really been watching Arsenal the past couple of weeks. I did catch like the highlights of the game. I kind of watched the games like in and out, but I wasn't really interested. And I'm seeing Calafiori shooting, and we're relying on Calafiori to shoot. So this is the problem. This is where we are. This is where we are. If that doesn't summarize where we are, I don't know what will in it. Like we're relying on Declan Rice and Calafiori to score goals. I'm hearing people say play Kieran Tierney as a winger. Like there's all sorts going on. Do you know what I mean? So right now, I say go again next season. I say it's Arteta's last hurrah next season for me. I'm not like, obviously I think it's a flop, but I'm not at the stage yet where I'm like, okay, get Arteta gone. I'm just at the stage now where I'm like, okay, let's write this season off and let's go next season. And he needs to come up with the goods. Otherwise, it's into the market we go.
You said a lot there. There's a lot for us to unpack there. Yeah, where do I start? I want to speak about Mikel Arteta because you kind of set up perfectly. But I need to be devil's advocate. You say we haven't challenged. We are still second. We have got to a semi-finals of a League Cup. Fair enough. We went out the FA Cup on penalties, and we are still in the Champions League. So why isn't it a challenge for you? Why haven't we challenged for you?
Deluded. Second. What do you mean we're still second?
I'm listen. I didn't say I don't agree with you. I'm just pointing out the facts and like why don't you count it as challenging?
What's second gonna do for us though? Second, third, fourth, it's all the same. Really, like it's all the
True.
same. What's second gonna do? Like we're second and there's no hope. It's not like we're second and we're 3 points off. We're
It's not
second.
mathematically impossible yet, no.
No, it's not. But I know my team. Like it is impossible. We're second and we're like 13 points off. Are we?
13, 14. Yeah, you're right.
Something like that.
Unfortunately.
So, this second that we're talking about, it's not like the second that we were last year. It's not like second that we were the year before. It's second and 13 points off of a Liverpool team who don't look like they're going to drop points anytime soon. And don't get me wrong, if we crashed out of all the cups like we have done, yeah, because I'm not counting Champions League. So forget that one.
Why not? It's the biggest cup competition. Why are you not counting it? We're still in
We're
it.
not in for that. Have you seen? Okay, so what? I don't even feel confident about PSV. Let's start there. So we're going to play PSV. Let's say we get through them.
Yeah.
One of those Madrid teams are going to let us know to stay humble. Do you understand?
Yeah, but it's the Champions League. You got to play the biggest and best. We're in it. Surely we have a chance.
And what have Arsenal done in the Champions League since you can remember?
It's got to a final. That's about it. Then it's been embarrassing. But new beginnings in that.
There's no new beginnings because look at our injury. Like we don't even have the team that we had like in the past 2 seasons that we feel like we can compete. I don't know if you truly feel like we can compete with the way the team looks like now in the Champions League. Me personally, I don't feel like that's possible. So I'm
not with our defense.
Listen,
can we not scumbag our way to a final based on our defense?
Scumbag your way to a final with Marino, Calafiori, and Rice being your and Ranieri obviously being your attacking options. Ranieri being 17, by the way.
Boy. It's dark, as you said. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark.
I'm not trying to. I'm usually like quite positive and like.
You don't sound it.
No, usually I am, but for me this season, I don't see it. I don't see it in the Champions League. The league is done. I really just see the season as a write-off. Obviously, if we want to maintain some dignity, we dare not let Nottingham Forest or anybody pass us in second. But second, like, we might as well walk. Like, the seat is warm. We're comfortable there.
I think you're back on the money. So then I have to ask you then, obviously, if you're not happy about our chances in the Champions League, clearly we've regressed. Like, I know it's just turned March, but really and truly we've been negative since January, February. So that's the Liga write-off, Champions League write-off, obviously the FA and League Cup. Why aren't you at, like you said earlier, you're not quite at the stage of Mikel Arteta out and it's one more season. It's clear regression. So why are you not Arteta out now then?
All right. Do you know what? Yeah, because as much as I'm like, oh, I've had it, blah, 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 I feel like I'm fair. Like, I feel like I am a fair Arsenal fan. Like, this season, Arteta, he hasn't had his full squad. And I feel like a lot of people, and obviously it might sound like excuses, in it, because injuries happen.
It is. It's context
okay,
FC
cool.
settings.
Okay, cool. But injuries happen to every team. Cool. But Arteta, we can go back to the summer transfer window, really, as
you really
to
can.
where we dropped this season, like where we dropped the ball. Really, we dropped it there. But
Facts.
you know, look at that. Didn't have the best window. Went into the season. Odegaard, I think it was at the second, third game. Odegaard is out. We know that Odegaard, Saka at their best, like having them in our team and having that link up, we know that kind of sets us apart from other teams, and that's what has been in the previous seasons. But we didn't have that from the jump, so there's that factor. Then we lose. Obviously, Saka he was slowing down up. Even when Saka's slowing down, he still comes up with the goods. So that's just Saka for you. But we know he was slowing down, and he's our best player in the team.
Facts.
We lose him. We lose a bunch of other players. We sign Raheem Sterling, and don't even get me started on that signing, yeah? Because I think when we signed him, that's when we confirmed that we weren't winning the league.
Why not? He's a proven Premier League winner, serial winner at that, and a very experienced player, the Jamaican.
So did you feel like he played a crucial part in winning City those leagues?
Yeah, he's part of the 100 club, 100%. Yeah, he did.
And he played a pivotal part. Like, you feel like if it weren't for Raheem Sterling, City wouldn't have.
I mean, it can never be down on one player, but I do believe Raheem Sterling's got unique qualities and he's a Premier League legend, man, if I'm honest.
All right, so you think that he's a good fit for Arsenal at this stage?
Where you need proven winners. I mean, clearly we needed to sign somebody else. Clearly Arteta wanted to sign someone else. But when it became clear that whether it's down to Arteta or the board, there's been several failures.
Winners.
You could do a lot worse than sign a proven winner.
Listen. Respectfully, we signed Zinchenko.
Who's got the cabinet that Raheem Sterling has in that Arsenal squad?
That's fine. Listen, there's such thing as passengers. Obviously, I'm not saying he's a passenger, because back when he was at City, he was a really, really great player, and I still believe he's a great player.
No, you don't.
He's declining. No, I just think he's declining. But I know that he's a great player, so I'm not going to take that away from him. But it's like, you can have passengers as well, you know. Like, we signed Jesus and Zinchenko a couple seasons ago, whenever that was. Weren't they winners at City?
Yeah, and then they stagnated.
So, but they were proven winners though, and I swear David Luiz was a proven winner.
He is a proven winner. I can't rewrite history. He's won stuff.
What did he do? This was an example. He's the first name that came to my head.
One man can't change. As you know, one man can't change everything.
We signed him from Chelsea as well, by the way.
Our manager's not a proven winner. Raheem Sterling is.
Okay, fair enough, innit? But I'm just saying, this proven winner thing means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. It
doesn't play any part, because you've got proven winners and then you've got inexperienced players.
He's a proven winner. What's he doing at Arsenal?
Is he being given a chance? Has Raheem Sterling been given a fair chance for you? Because if I get his stats up now, there's not been that many starts. As you know, you need time to, get up.
We didn't sign Raheem Sterling to start games, though.
So how can you impact when you're getting 5 minutes and things of that ilk?
Because you're a proven winner. You're Raheem.
Yeah, he's not a miracle worker. He's not Jesus.
You don't need a bedding in period. You got baptized before you came, talking about you're going to see the best of me.
This is like, what do you expect him to do? Like, look, there's hardly any starts there. He's had injuries. Like, he's never been given a run of games. Like, the most minutes he's got in the Premier League from the jump, you're touching like an hour. Is that 70 minutes? Are you really being fair to Raheem Sterling?
I am. There was a game. Who was it that he just had that? What was that game where Arteta made changes and he put Marino on as a 9? Was that against Leicester? Yeah.
The first time or the second time? The first time's
second
Leicester.
time, the most recent Leicester game, I think it was away.
Yeah. Sterling started. He had a good game. He had a good game. He ran a lot. He worked really hard. He ran a lot.
Oh, delete. Stop. Just stop. Me personally, Raheem Sterling has not lived up to my expectations. I know there's many Arsenal fans out there that agree with me. He's not lived up to my expectations. Thank you, Marcel. Like, come on, like,
no, give me. Why can't I believe in every player at Arsenal Football Club? Why can't I believe in Raheem Sterling? Raheem the Dream.
Because I know
like a nightmare.
It's true what he said. Louder gimmick. This is a gimmick that you're.
How is it a gimmick? What have I said that's a gimmick?
You know what I'm saying is true.
I didn't say it's not true. I just said he's a proven winner. Is he not?
Yeah,
I just said he's not been given a fair chance. Has he been given one?
What does that mean to be a proven winner, though? That doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing at Arsenal.
You respond to adversity. You've won stuff in your career. You're an experienced player, and you've got a lot of transferable and unique qualities that can be given to the rest of the squad. What's wrong with saying that, Shirley? What's wrong with that? I didn't say he's the Messiah. I didn't say he's been great. I just said he's a proven winner. He didn't bring himself in. Surely it's back to the manager with bringing in, considering
I know what it is. It's the Jamaican connection.
Of course, I'm never going to throw him out. Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. But like, the deeper question is, as you said earlier, we finished 2 points off City. We've stagnated. We're about 13, 14 points off in the Premier League. Everything else appears a write-off. And you said it goes back to the summer. Now, anyone that thought Raheem Sterling's a level raiser is dreaming, really. He can't be blamed for that. Surely that's on the manager who... I've asked you why you're not like quite at the Mikel Arteta outside. You're saying one more season. Surely this ain't sustainable. Surely this is failings of the manager and the recruitment team.
It's the recruit. Yeah, I put it down to the recruitment team, and I do put it down to Arteta as well, because I know that Arteta has a voice when it comes down to things like signings, and picking players out there. So I know that he's very influential in making those decisions. So ultimately, blame has to be put. Who's this? Who's Max Dalman? I don't even know who that is.
Whoa, you need to get to know. Is that 14, 15, 16? Played in he played in the FA Youth Cup against United. You know about him in a couple of years. Don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Okay. But yeah, like I feel like Arteta takes some blame, but really the summer window, diabolical. We knew, and this is the story with Arsenal all the time. We have like one or two players, that we're missing. We're like, oh, let's just get this position, secure this position, and we're good to go. Like, we're fighting on all fronts, or we can challenge. And we know, like, I feel like as Arsenal fans, the ones that are not in like dreamland, we've got high expectations. Like, we have high standards in it. We know what good football looks like, and we know what good players look like. So our standards are.
You don't, because you're not rating Sterling. But go on.
Boy, I ain't rating Sterling in 2025. Certainly not. But yeah, like I just think once we reach a position like we did in the summer, where we needed a striker, we needed another midfielder, we needed another right winger, and if we got those signings, I feel like, obviously we've got academy players that have come up and they've slightly saved us, like Ethan and that, but we didn't do business in summer. That is really where the season started to fall down. Before we even kicked the ball, like, we were already like in a bad position. So yeah, if I say why am I not Arteta out, it's because, am I going to give him the opportunity to get this window right? Am I going to say that, you know what, I think next season, let's hope that there's not the same level of injuries as we faced this season, because we were really unlucky this season.
Yeah, before we never had no injuries. We still didn't win the league though.
But this is what I'm saying, like, with a better window, with more experience, and with no injuries, do I believe that he can win something? Yes. Do I think it's going to be the league? I can't say, but that's why
do you believe that? Because so far he's not shown he's able to. Why do you believe that, being devil's advocate?
Just because, like, from evidence from last season, from the seasons that are like how we play, our level, the level that I know this team can go to, that's why I'm like, okay, if we play at certain levels, why can we not win something? Like, why not? If we play at that level, maintain that level, believe that we can win, we can win. Any team can win with those circumstances. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, okay, look, with all of those ducks aligned, I'll give him another season. Obviously, if he has a season like this, then I'm going to say, look, injuries, whatever, you've got to pack your bags at the end of the season regardless. But If you're asking me why has he got one more season? For me, that's because I just want to see what happens if we can get all our decisions right and have all the ducks aligned and just see what happens with a more experienced team.
Do you honestly believe all our ducks will be aligned and we'll do everything we need to do in the summer to have this ideal scenario you speak of?
No,
Why?
because I don't believe that we will do what we need to do in the transfer window. Like, I feel like this season's been a big wake up call, and the board are really going to be under some serious pressure to spend properly and accurately in the transfer window. But it's Arsenal. We're going to be missing something. I just know how the story goes. Like, we go into every season, it's like, it would be great if we just got that one more. It's going to be that. But I'm hoping that playing Merino as a false nine has opened everybody's eyes to
That's your manager, you know.
Listen, he's got. I said one more season. And
like, regardless of injuries, he's playing Merino up front. An excuse, like, should he be doing that? Why is he? Some would say, why is he not playing young players? Why is he not going for Sterling, Wanyeri, and Trossard? Why is he playing Merino up front? I'm just saying, this is what people are saying, because the Merino thing worked against Leicester against tied legs. It didn't work against West Ham. It didn't work against Forest.
It didn't work still, but at least, look, he was innovative in that moment. He came up with something, or they must have been working on something. It worked. Ultimately, right now, having Sterling in this team, thank you, Wokers. Thank you. Having Sterling in this team, we still don't have an attacking solution. We still don't have a striker solution, whether he's in this team or not. We don't have a striker.
Which is down to your manager.
And the recruitment and other factors like injuries.
We'll get onto the board, but like, I've yet to hear you blame Arteta for things. Like, some would say you're sounding like an Arteta sexual.
No, never that. Never.
Like, if you fancy the guy, just say so.
Listen, it's never that. I've blamed Arteta. I've said he plays a big part in making decisions. In terms
what is he directly responsible for?
Okay, he's directly responsible for picking the team. He's directly responsible for, I guess, how we play. But if everyone's going down injured, what can he do? What is he meant
rotate
to
players?
If he's going for a league, is he meant to put his hopes and dreams in academy players? Like, is he meant to start 8 academy players when he's going?
He didn't want to play any of them. He just kind of had to
do that. He what? Sorry.
He kind of had to. He had no choice. Like, obviously, I think too many. He did have to. He had to play Wanyeri. Wanyeri's a talented boy, and he'll always have come through Lewis Skelly, but it became clear he had to play them.
Yeah, that's Wanyeri. Yeah, but the good thing about that situation is that with Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri, he ended up in a position where he had to play them. But you see, them two are special breeds. Like, you don't come across them two on normal day. Like, them two are really a strike of gold.
And they're saving our lives.
So whether he has to play them or not, exactly. And whether he had to pay them or not, them two were getting into this team one way or another. Like, they were getting into. So really and truly, all he done is speed up the process of what was going to happen. But now
can I ask you a question?
All right, go on.
Is it fair to blame Arteta for Merino failing to really be a level raiser? I'm not done. Merino being a level raiser. Does Mikel Arteta have to take responsibility for Calafiori being benched by an academy player in Miles Lewis Skelly? Is the board to be blamed for the Kai Havertz conundrum, whether it's up front or in midfield, or indirectly the wages, and if that affects us in the summer? Is it his, he's let players go? Because we both know players are not coming in or out without Mikel Arteta. Is it their fault why we struggle to break down low blocks? Is it their fault why we haven't evolved the system? Is it necessarily their fault that, the Kai Havertzes, the Sakas, the Martinellis have been run into the ground and there's been a lack of rotation? Is it fair to say, isolated to Mikel Arteta, these are all factors within his control? And yes, he has to hold that.
They are, because especially with things like
you're giving this guy a lot of slack for someone that's failing right now.
I'm being honest. What do you want me to do? Like,
no, go on. I'm just being devil's advocate.
For example, the Havertz thing, yeah. That for me is something that, and I don't think Kai Havertz has been as bad as I thought he was going to be when we signed him. I agree. Because when we signed him, I was thinking, why have you bought this guy? Like, I was fuming. But
I'm still questioning that, but he's been a lot better
I'm still
than
questioning it because I'm thinking of everyone you could have got. You got Kai Havertz. Okay.
Again, that's your manager, but go on.
And the recruitment team, yeah, it's a joint.
We'll get on to them.
Decision, but the Kai Havertz thing, yeah, that's something that I look at Arteta like with a bit of a side eye, because I'm like, I don't think he knows where he wanted to play Havertz. I don't really think he knows.
Randy's shooting from 40 yards, but go on. Yes, her name's Shirley. Get to know, man. He's shooting from 40 yards. He's shooting from 40 yards. But go on.
Yeah, I don't think he knew where he wanted to play Havertz. Like, I don't think he knew what his plan for Havertz was. Like, I think Havertz came in as something, as like a
55 million
midfielder. No, yeah, for real. Obviously, that's a mess up, isn't it? That's a mess up on Arteta, 100%. Like, I'd say that falls on him. But I don't think he knew what he wanted to do when he brought in Havertz. I think he wanted to use him as a midfielder. I don't know why he felt to change a midfield that, you know, was working pretty well in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, and then suddenly he decided that he'll play him as a striker or like as a centre forward.
Because Jesus got injured.
Exactly. But then it's like, now you're trying to use someone that you initially brought in as a midfielder to solve the centre forward problem, when we should have just signed a natural centre forward, like someone that you're bringing in to play in this position. So yeah, I blame Arteta for things like that. I also do question about what is happening, that all these players are just dropping down like flies. How are they training, or like what are they, what's really going on that all these players are also dropping down injured? And
Fact.
Also, like, in terms of the lack of rotation, I do think Arteta is a bit stubborn. He's very stubborn. Like, he's very stubborn in his ways. Like, I know that he plays his system, and I just feel like he knows the players that he trusts kind of execute this system that he has, and he's rarely willing to take chances
to deviate
on that. That's worked to his detriment a bit, and with this season. So yes, I kind of test some blame to him. Like, I'm not going to say like Arteta's perfect, it's all in the recruitment, but ultimately, let's see what happens when the ducks are aligned. Like, let's see if we can get that chance to go, because honestly, every other season we came second, was it twice before this season, and I honestly don't think the team was quite ready, apart from last season where we really could have pushed it. It went to the last day. I don't really feel like season before that, I don't feel like we to win the league. Like, yeah, we were playing great, but we weren't going to take it all the way, 38 games. I feel like now and next season, the team is there, the maturity is there, the experience is there. Like, if you're not dropping like flies, if you make the right signings, what is the excuse?
I'm hearing a lot of ifs though, man, Shirley. I'm hearing a lot of ifs.
Because, listen.
And favourable conditions. Like life, is football ever going to be favourable? Because, like, yeah, this season there's been red cards, there's been injuries, but we still haven't had enough. Last season we were free as well. It's sounding good, and you're not wrong. But it's sounding too favourable.
Even the red cards, though. Like,
we could have killed several games with those red cards, surely. Brighton times 2.
Are the red cards Arteta's fault? They're not Arteta's fault.
You could say we've got a discipline problem, potentially. We've got the most red cards this season.
I was gonna, do you know what? I was thinking that, but Arteta, like, honestly, he doesn't strike me as someone that would have that type of problem in his team, though. Like, do you really think, like, Arteta?
He can't stay in his technical area, of course he would.
Well, yeah, there's that. But he's gotten better with that, This season, he's gotten better with that. Before, my man was flapping his arms. He was doing madnesses before.
He was actually half decent when he was doing that. He probably has to go back to
it. Maybe, because this season he's actually calmed that down, and we're dross most of the time. But when he's losing his mind, clearly that does something to the team. But I feel like maybe a discipline problem. But then with Arteta, what we know about him, what's been like PR, what's been painted of Arteta is that we see him as this disciplinarian guy, that non-negotiables and all that. So I'm thinking, how are you letting guys on the team lack discipline? Like, that doesn't really coincide with what we know of Arteta. So I don't know, but it's a valid point. Like, you could say they're not disciplined enough. I don't know, but I guess the question that I always ask, like, whenever I watch people on these shows, talking about, if you sack Arteta, who are we going to get? That's my question. Who are we going to get? Arteta's done. I feel like a lot of fans might not want to admit this, but this is a feeling I have. I almost don't want to just worried about reverting if we let go of Arteta. I'm worried about someone coming in, completely changing the style of play, and us kind of going through like a Chelsea dip again. You know, like that's kind of what I'm worried about. But I know that you can't make excuses for a manager that's not delivering for years and years and years, just on the fear of like, what if the next person? So I don't know, innit? Like I think give him one more season.
Boy, you know you want a striker, right? You want a striker, innit?
I do want a striker,
but you don't necessarily know what striker that is, right?
No, I don't.
So it's the same logic with a manager, surely.
That's Arteta and the recruitment.
Look at Onslaught
decision. Use us as an example. Sometimes that's true, you know. No, it's true, but again, like Liverpool got really lucky. Liverpool literally they got rid of Klopp, who they saw a lot of success with. What are the chances that you bring Onslaught, perfect fit, takes on someone else's team, manages to galvanize them, and it clicks? Like, what are the chances of that happening, though?
Didn't we say when Liverpool City fall off, we'd be the ones to take advantage of a situation like this? Doesn't that raise into more questions, Arteta?
Oh my God.
You know, they say winners win and losers explain, you know?
No, it's actually embarrassing, you know? It's embarrassing because I was one of those ones, you know? I was one of those ones saying like, oh, when City don't perform, trust me, we're back, we're in there. I don't know.
Never trust someone that says trust me. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. No, but I'll be a devil's advocate, but I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I do think keeping Arteta doesn't necessarily guarantee success, and at some point you've got to change. I do think sacking him could be a benefit or worse. We just don't know. What I would say is it gets to the point where if you keep doing the same thing, you know the same kind of things are going to happen. And until Mikel, for the rebuild, one love, but until you get over the line, for me, everything's up for debate. You are allowed to be sacked. I wouldn't cry if you leave if we can get an upgrade. And, tomorrow's problems would be tomorrow's problems because it's Arsenal FC. It's not Arteta FC. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I do think for Arteta sexuals, they behave like he's a damsel in distress. He's here learning on the job. He's managing a fucking amazing club in his first 6 years, and he's helping these lot get top 4. Let's go on to the board though, man. Like, what's the board to be like, what fingers would you point at the board? Because Arteta's one thing, they're all in this together. Where do you look at with the board?
Well, the window, both windows. Like, we haven't even spoken about the January window. Like,
speak on it.
What was that? Like, for real, that was...
I wish I knew, man. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That was really, like, for me, that's when I knew, okay, something's going wrong. Like, something ain't, like, clicking. I don't know if Stan Kroenke, what they say, if the accusations are really sticking about, like, listen, he don't really care about Arsenal. He's on this NFL thing. Like, I don't know, but
clearly doesn't.
That's what it's looking like. When you have a window, like our January window, with the position that we were in, you have to ask questions. You have to ask the questions about the ownership and like, right. Are you seeing what the fans are seeing? That's number one. I also think this Edu situation has caused a bit of like, not a rift, but just a bit of like, when something is unsettled, like I feel like it's been a bit like that since Edu. I still don't really know the backstory of why suddenly he's on gardening leave and he's still there. And I'm hearing that he's going to be replaced by some guy.
Berta, who was at Atletico Madrid.
That guy. So we seem to have sorted that issue out. But I feel like...
Not until we see it confirmed, but I hear you.
Not until we see it confirmed, and also not until we see like the goods. Like, we need to see how he's going to work with Arteta and what type of players these guys are coming up on. But, I feel like leaving that problem for such a long time, in a club where we worked so hard to get everyone walking in the same direction, like everyone aligned.
Right.
Like, we were completely disseminated before Arteta came, in terms of just like the fans were in one direction or multiple directions. The board was there. The players were, so we've worked so hard to kind of turn that around. And when you have a situation like that with Edu, who's been such a pivotal point in our kind of regen, I guess, respawn, whatever you want to call it. I think that uncertainty didn't help as well. So I'm looking at the board with things like that. I'm also looking at the board with contracts. Like, when I look at Arteta, I think it was last season, or It might have been last season where he signed a 3-year deal.
He's earning 15 million a year now. Second highest earner in the Prem.
Well, look, I don't know if
not that I'm pocket watching, but it must be nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like we can't pocket watch, but like rebuild. That's the word I was looking for. We can't pocket watch, but you know they pay him whatever they want to pay. I'm sure other managers are on that, but I feel like timing of contracts as well. Like let him deliver something, or let the guy feel under pressure for something. I don't feel like Arteta's really ever felt under pressure about his job, regardless of how the team performs. And once you get second, whether you like it or not, the expectations are going to be win that league. If you keep falling,
all the cups,
or win a cup, like win something. Like if you keep falling below that standard, people are going to want your neck. But why is it that the board are not holding? Yeah, okay. Why is it that
that's the madness?
Holding him to that same level of accountability? Like, so that's my issue with the board. I feel like, why are you handing out contracts when the fans need to see something? Like,
but is it about winning then? Sorry to cut you, but is it about winning then? Because what you're saying is a lot of the thoughts that I share, especially around specifically just winning trophies. But he's got us top 4. Yeah, we're not happy to be second, but he's getting us top 4. The money's piling in. Could you say what the board deem as success and what us fans might are two very different things? So he might actually be hitting the KPIs under with what the board's asking.
And I do feel like that, and that's a huge problem because I'm feeling like this board are just happy to get top 4. Yeah, they're happy to be in top 4. Thank you. They're happy to be consistently getting the money from the Champions League. You know, we're one of the big 6 teams. As long as we can kind of account for that in terms of where we finish, like we're good because the revenue is the same. Arsenal's a huge club. We're good. Fans are going to be there regardless. Like
merchandise.
Merch, everything. Like we'll sign a couple players. We might sign one player that gets the fans gassed. Gonna make loads of money from that. They know all of these things. So I do feel like what success looks like is not aligned, and that's what I'm saying. Like we need to question the board. Like, are they listening to the fans? Do they
clearly not?
Do they know what the fans want? Do they know what our expectations are? Like, are they even taking heed of any of that? Because it doesn't look like it. It just looks like, because I haven't even seen this guy sweat for his job once, and that's a concern for me.
And I think you're bang on the money. But then if I flip it, I'm not necessarily happy with the Kroenkes' ownership. But if I consider that at the end of the day, this is how they run stuff, they're not going anywhere, whatever it is, they could sit here and say, DG, we've allowed him to break the club record. We've allowed him to sign left back and centre mid galore. We've allowed him to give out new contracts and hand out contracts. We've given him a lot of autonomy. Nobody signs for this football club or leaves this football club from a sporting front without him. We've given a lot of responsibility to Mikel Arteta. Some would say he's earned it. Some would say he's not. So surely there has to be more pressure on Arteta, because it's either A, the board needs to go and the gaffer needs to go, or Arteta, based on the fact that he says these are the best owners, surely he needs to find a way to thrive within the framework, because he knows the company ethos. He liked it so much. As you said, he signed a new contract. So we can't always go back to the board. That being said, January, the board should have acted. This is why I've kind of tempered my expectations, because you kind of touched on it there, and you said, you basically alluded to the fact of they might not be looking at the fans. They don't care about the fans. We don't have the last 2 windows we have if we really want to do what the fans want. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think something's got to give. So either the owner's got to give or Arteta's got to give. It's either Arteta needs to stop being a yes man, because maybe that's what it is. Like, if Arteta really is the truth, like the Arteta sexuals would say, if he's the truth, then he needs to not be a yes man. Like, if you're the truth and you have the minerals, you need this and that, and you're not getting that back in, don't be a yes man. Because I'll respect you more if you say, you know what, I'm walking away from this because I'm not getting what I want. I want to take the team here and the board is not seeing it. So let me walk away. I would have more respect for him if that is how we parted ways.
But he ain't got that level of clout in the managerial game. Like, obviously, he's seen as a young, innovative coach and all of that. But we have to remember, this is a relationship of convenience, you know. Like, he's getting to learn on the job. He's learned a hell of a lot. Remember, he's dealt with COVID, ripping up contracts, different formations. He's getting autonomy at this club. Remember, Edu hired him. He's getting a say in whoever is going to be the next director. So he's getting a lot of responsibility, a lot of increase in power, even down to his coaching stuff. So it's like, that's why I said, like, it's a bit weird, because surely he's not a damsel in distress.
No, I still think regardless of all the power he's got, I still think he's a bit of a yes man. Because
100% he's a yes man.
yeah, but he's somebody that it's what you said, like where he doesn't have the clout of a manager that's won things. He hasn't got that in the bank. He can't flash anything and be like, well, I can give you this, this, and this. He ain't got none of that, right? So I feel like regardless, there are decisions that he just kind of has to go along with, and he's not going to be able to kind of push back. But if he's, like I said, if he's the truth, that's what he should do. Because the way this guy, the PR around this guy, the way this guy conducts himself, you really would think he is the second coming, like, of somebody. Like, so no, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's either if he really wants to take us to that stage, he's gonna have to kind of come out of his comfort zone from where he's had. Because I'm feeling like all of this responsibility that we think that he has, it's just lotioning. Like, I think it's just lotioning for the fans. I really do think he's a yes man. I really do think he's in that position, and he gets told what to do. I think all of the other stuff is lotioning for the fans to make us feel like, yeah, Arteta's at the wheel, like he's got it. But I don't think he does.
Why do you think he struggles to get over the line specifically, like going from finishing second to first, or whether it's hit semi-finals or whatever? Because I do feel like the manager and the players, also the players as well, when it's crunch time moments or sink or swim, we crumble 9 times out of 10. Like the record's there, isn't it? Like we haven't been to too many finals under Mikel Arteta or won major honours. And I do think if he picked up a little FA or League Cup, he might get some credit in the bank. But why do you think whenever it's push comes to shove, we simply don't get over the line?
I think we need to we should think about. So are you asking me specifically with Arteta, or are you asking me with this about Arsenal? Because
everything you feel.
Because we can go back. Like, I'm thinking of that Europa League final against Chelsea and how we just crumbled. Yeah. So there's that. And that was with Emery. And then obviously FA Cup, Arteta, and then after that, we've never been able to get it over the line. And now, at first, I was thinking, well, this is an Arsenal thing. Arsenal get, to certain points of major competitions or whatever, and for whatever reason, one or the other, we crumble. And that's not even necessarily with Arteta. But when I'm thinking about why it happens with Arteta, like, it's only recently that I've started to think, is it over preparation? Like, is it something that Arteta does once he gets to a certain stage of a competition or a certain stage of the season where he's really anal about things, or he's focusing on like really minute details? Because a lot of the players talk about how detailed Arteta is. And I'm thinking, if you're a player 28 games in, to a season, quarterfinals of the Champions League, do you really have, like, obviously you're professional, you get paid to perform at this level, right? But do you really have the capacity to take in that level of detail week in, week out? Like, can that affect your game? Can that affect how you see that running, that last 10 games of a season? Like, can that just affect like natural instinct, natural fighting instincts from kicking in? Like, can that have an effect on it? I'm starting to look at Arteta and wonder if he does some sort of over preparation or something that psychs out the players, because this is time and time again, like, there is no excuse for a performance in the the League Cup and the FA Cup. There's no excuse for crashing out like that. So we need to think like, no, there's no excuse. So we need to think, what's causing it? Is it because there's a boiling, like a pot of pressure that's boiling, and Arteta is getting really detailed? Or is it an Arsenal thing? Because if it's not Arteta, then it's an Arsenal thing, because we've got evidence in the history. But if we're looking at Arteta, yeah, I'm questioning just sort of the level of detail he puts into things. And when I'm hearing the players talk about how they train and the stuff that they think about, I'm thinking, is that a bit much? Like, if you're challenging, really towards the tail end of the season. So maybe that's
a double-edged sword, really. When you deep it kind of is. Like, it's a mad double-edged sword, because as a manager, you've got to overthink, you've got to do that, but at the same time, a bit like what you're alluding to, potentially keep things simple. Now, I do think Mikel Arteta's tactics are good, but ultimately engineers his own downfall. I don't know if he's scarred by the 2022-23 season where we was playing blisteringly good football, but we was was a liability defensively. As dumb as it sounds, and I know he wants to win games, and the players want to win games. Everyone of every team wants to win games, but it's almost like he approaches games not to lose versus winning. We know what we're going to do. Exactly, the inverted fullbacks, moving it left, right. He's not shown he has a solution for low blocks, and I feel a lot of the problems we've spoken about, in addition to this, in this opening 40 minutes, we've known about them last season. Now, old habits die hard, and there's been no solutions. I don't blame Arteta for everything, but I do think there's a lot of controllables he's not controlling. And you are right. Unfortunately, it is an Arsenal thing, definitely since we've gone to the Emirates, in that when it's sink or swim and crunch time, unfortunately, there's more L's than W's. So we're in big problems.
Yeah, I think it would be unrealistic to not give Arteta some of the blame, but ultimately, I don't think our story is going to change until our ownership changes. Like, if it was Arteta, if it's not Arteta, I think it's going to be someone else. Like, if it's not Arteta, it's Emery. If it's not Emery, it was Arsene Wenger. Like, so really, we can see there's a pattern, like, and I think we gave them a little bit of a scare when the whole Super League? When the whole Super League thing happened, we gave them a little bit of a scare, and I think I've seen a little bit of a push in a different direction since then. But I think that was all it was, really, a slap on the wrist. They kind of straightened up a little bit, but they're taking us for a ride. Ultimately, the owners are taking us for a ride.
Like, I mean, we're taking ourselves for a ride, man. People just keep buying merch. We've been knowing what Arsenal's about since these lot of taking full ownership. So it's like, do you think it can turn ugly? I don't want it to. Naturally, I want us to be, great, playing great football, winning everything. But against West Ham, fans did start leaving.
Yeah,
as you said, it's the third year.
I think
can it turn ugly?
When Arsenal fans are involved, it can always turn ugly. Like, it can always turn ugly with Arsenal fans. Like, that shouldn't even be a question. Of course it can. But I think that we have been appreciating this period of, like, just improving, so much, and playing football that we like to see, that we like to watch, that we just don't want to do it. Like, we're not ready to take it there just yet. But yes, I do feel like if this carries on, like, for example, if we don't have a good summer window, I think next season's going to be ugly. I think the atmosphere already in the stadiums is really, really dry. Like, it's not mirroring the last 2 seasons. It's not good, the atmosphere.
Because the fans have been sold a dream. Like, they can't be at it all the time.
It's reflective of how
players probably sold a dream as well.
Exactly. You never know what the players probably had high expectations of the team and who they're going to be playing with, and the actions that the board are going to take as well. And, they're in a similar position. But I feel like, you can already see the fans you got Odegaard, man like Odegaard doing all of this to the fans and stuff. It's like, come on, like, we're not in that space anymore. And you can see the fans are not. And you've got the fans that are going to sing for 96 minutes regardless. Of course, that's a given. But ultimately, that there's already been an energy shift. Like, so if we don't get, I think if we don't get this window right, it's not going to be pretty next season. It's not going to be pretty at the Emirates next season.
What does it look like getting it right? Like, because you said that a few times. I think I know what you're alluding to, but for you, what would it mean getting it right in the transfer window?
I'm talking about spending £350 million.
Oh, you're dreaming. Arsenal, where we're slightly being briefed about sell to buy and all of that. You 300 odd million quid.
How many players did we
I hope you're right.
In the last summer window? We've sold
Ramsdale, Eddie
Nketiah,
Smith Rowe.
Nelson was a loan, right?
Nelson loan, Vieira loan. Someone else left. Did I say Ramsdale?
Yeah, you said Ramsdale. So we made some money, like, last summer window. We didn't spend any money in January. There is no excuse. Go out there and spend 350 million and spend it right. I don't want to see players like I even forgot the first players that Arteta was buying. I remember Arteta's first window was just shambolic, buying.
Don't remind me about it.
Players like, what's this guy's name? Lokonga and them. Like, I don't want to see players like that, I want 350 million spent on 4 good players, like striker, Saka, backup. I need another midfielder, maybe another defender as well, because another left back, for example, because we can't rely on Lewis.
Oh, someone wouldn't be happy with you saying another left back, even though I agree with.
I think another left back, because we can't rely on Lewis Skelly, even though he's doing a great job, but he's still a young boy. Like, he's still
Or Calafiori.
Yeah, exactly. We can't rely on Lewis Skelly because Calafiori is not. He's a non-factor. Like this guy can't stay fit. Yeah, so already we're in a tough. If we get those 4 signings, left back, another midfielder to replace Partey, like, or because I think he's kind of dwindling down as well, even
Would you
though
keep
he's
him?
still coming up with the goods. I'll give him another year contract. Yeah, I would. I'd give Partey, but I wouldn't be relying on Partey. Like in the midfield, I'd be looking to sign a player that's coming into that position, and then obviously a striker and a right winger. If we can get, and that's if we keep him
Right or left?
I was just about to say that's if we're keeping Martinelli, because if we're getting rid of Martinelli, which I think we need to do, then I need a left winger too.
Whoa.
So,
Get rid of Martinelli for what?
look, you can keep him if you can keep him, but he's a squad player. I don't think Martinelli needs to be starting.
Yeah, he's a squad player, but he'll get his first team regular spot back. That's a Brazilian international.
He will, because why? Because we're not going to sign another left winger. So Martinelli's going to come right back and be in his position. Can't rely on Trossard to start. We've seen that Trossard. I think he's scared of starting. He's scared of starting 11 when he comes on from, like, when he's coming on from the bench. Suddenly, he's awake. But once he starts, it's like, he's not. You can't really rely on him. So, like I'm saying, that's 5 players then, because I want another left winger. So I'm saying
need some goalies as well.
Who's I got Raya? Yeah, need another goalie.
Yeah, because Neto's not going to be here. Neto's on loan.
Spend 350 million minimum. That's what getting it right looks like to me. That is it. That's your answer.
I'd love to see it, and I hope you're right, but I can't see it because it seems like we're in a strong financial position. We're in no problems with PSR. Last season, it felt like there was an onus by the club to kind of sell or get some money in. I think that's going to continue this year. Whether we're able to sell players or who we sell, I don't know. Jesus and Tomiyasu potentially could have been candidates. Them man are injured, so it's irrelevant. Kivior could go. It's not for certain. The same with Zinni. Tierney's gone. Partey's gone. Jorginho's gone.
Is Nelson coming back?
On paper, he's coming back, but is he going to have a future here, or is it made clear that you need to probably move on? I mean, you never know with Nelson. I'm sure he loves the club.
Why did we even send him off on loan? Like, see these decisions. Like, I don't even understand, because we could have done with Reece Nelson at least this season.
Like, Nelson, we're in the gutter if we're saying that. But we are in the gutter, but still,
we are in the gutter. Who've we got now? Marino.
He's injured, to be fair.
Oh well. There you go.
Maybe we could have kept Fabio Vieira or recalled him in January at the very least. He's got 4 goals and assists in 4 games now for Porto.
I'm just deep in. We need to sign about 8 players because I need him gone as well. I don't see what Vieira's going to do for us either. So I'm deep in that we need 8 players.
Why not? You don't believe in him? He's doing quite well in Porto. He's quite adaptable and versatile. Arteta spent 30-40 million on him.
That's Porto. Have you seen you've seen the Portuguese league, right? That's Porto. Like, this is Arsenal. First of all, no.
Maybe his confidence is back.
No, I'm not willing to take a chance. I'm not willing to take a chance on it. I feel like we've had Vieira, what was it, 2-3 seasons? 2 seasons we saw him?
In like 2-3 years, yeah. Well, he's been here since the first title challenge. Yeah, so it's been 3 years or so.
And what part did he play in those title challenges? None.
Came off the bench and set up a goal against Bournemouth or something.
Brentford. He scored one.
Brentford against Brentford. Did well last season against Man United.
Yeah, but that was it though. That was it. You see how I had the memory in my head of what he did, because it's just that one. You can't list all the things that Saka's done for us because the list is endless. Vieira, as soon as you said what's he done, I said that game against Brentford, because it's just that one thing. He's not impactful. I've seen enough. Like, I'm not carrying any passengers anymore, and I feel like
your captain's a passenger. Allegedly.
Is he? I mean, well, yeah, this season, but I think Odegaard's got enough credit.
He looks like he needs to be breastfed like he's you. He looks like he wants his mum at this moment in time, Odegaard.
No, but do you know what? Yeah, it's hard for him this season. Look, long-term injury. He came back from that. Saka's not there. All the other players are injured around him, and we've seen what Odegaard. Like, for me, Odegaard, I'm willing to give Odegaard another go.
I don't see you giving Sterling this. Like, I'm just hearing small violins being played for Martin Wondergaard.
Because Odegaard, like,
because you fancy him.
Odegaard, we can't compare what their job is, to do on the pitch. Like, I see Odegaard do his job more times than I see Sterling. I don't care. You're Raheem Sterling, yeah? You're playing in the attack. Every single time you touch that ball, I should be standing up. I should be getting excited. Why are you receiving the ball and passing backwards? Why are you, first of all, the ball can't even stick to his feet. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm watching this guy and it's like a shadow of himself. Like, he does nothing. Odegaard at least plays his role. Like, obviously, I think the downside for him, I think, especially not just this season, but it's been a complaint in previous seasons. In some of the games, he does go a bit missing in it.
He's soft. I love him, but he's soft.
He does go a bit missing, but Odegaard, what he has, you can't replace it. That's what I'm saying.
What's he got? I know he's wonderfully gifted technically.
I think he's technically like a magician. Like, that's what I think. Like, I think when he's at his level, I don't think you can replace Odegaard. That's a natural talent that he's got. Like, when he does what he does.
But he's not doing that right now.
Okay, he's not doing it right now, but with Sterling, I can replace what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. Like, whether you're doing it right now or whether you're not, I know I can bring somebody that can do what you're supposed to do. But Odegaard, I don't know if I'm going to find another Odegaard. Like, just like you don't know if you're going to go out there and find another Mesut Ozil. You're not going to find another Odegaard. But Sterling, I mean...
You reckon?
I'm sorry. Sterling, I've seen enough. Wrap it up. He should have been gone in January. I'm telling you.
Damn.
He should have been gone in January.
The purple patch is going to start today. Quote me here. Sterling is scoring today. If I'm lying, I'm frying people. Raheem Sterling is back in against PSV, and I've said this every week. He's back.
So the purple patch, what's the date? 4th of March. So the purple patch is starting on the 4th of March. This is somebody that got baptized before they came, you know. Stop. Like,
there's no since you're on the religious
he sold
thing,
us really, really serious dreams. Like,
you see, you said that, yeah. Can I ask you a question? Can you have a testimony if you haven't been given a test?
How can you play against Leicester and play the way he played and say that you've not been given any opportunities?
He was given one opportunity.
I can't even remember the game it was. It was just an eyesore. It was him and Jesus and someone else up front, like in the front line. And that was another game where I just thought, end it now. Like, you know, I wanted to pull my eyes out. Like, he's had enough opportunities for me personally, because I'll have to keep reiterating his level of experience and what he's come onto. What he's come on into this team to do. He should be, whenever he's on the pitch, he should be making an impact. Nothing less.
I can't lie. Whoever thought Sterling was going to do serious business in January, in the summer, was just trying to do coping.
So why did we sign him then?
Because whatever we tried to do in the summer clearly failed. We're running around on deadline day. We spoke about Edu. Edu came out and said when we signed Sterling, to be fair, this is something we didn't plan to do. And fans were talking about he's worked with him at City. He's got a point to prove. All of these things make sense, but it's too romantic. I think at Arsenal there's a lot of romance behind things. We need cold-hearted evidence.
100% right. Like, I'm happy you brought that up, because I feel like Arteta, he's definitely a romance man as well. Like, what did he think was going to happen? Like, he was going to take Sterling and rely on that little connection they had.
Look what he's doing with your boy Kai Havertz up front.
Yeah, but even Kai Havertz.
No, Kai's pulled his weight, but it's not levels.
Exactly. Even Kai Havertz, Arteta thought he was going to do a little salt bay on Kai Havertz and make him into God knows what, yeah? But even he's been better than Sterling. But it's true, like, this whole romance thing, you think you're going to pluck him from Chelsea, save him, and, you know, reignite that connection you have.
Sterling's for the streets, man. You can't save everyone.
No, they're letting you know. They're telling you, like, we're telling you the realness. Like, we're trying to show you.
Saudi's local Sterling, man.
We're trying to show you Sterling is done. Like, Saudi's calling, and I'm thinking summer, like, it's time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually time. But I feel like Arteta, again, he is living in dreamland, where he feels like, I don't know what kind of minerals he thinks he's got that he's going to give to these players to reignite, you know, their career or their trajectory based on what a connection you had with him in City. It's the same thing with Jesus and Zinchenko. You brought them in.
No, that's not fair.
No, you brought them in. We all got gas. Like, they're winners. He worked with them at City. Rah, rah, rah. What did it do? Like, obviously, yeah, they galvanized the team a bit. They were giving team talks and that. But what, like, when Arteta has relied on those previous relationships that he's had, it never works. It never
Because we're
works.
taking squad players and trying to make them regulars, and we're surprised. It's like Moreno and Havertz and actually Martinelli and Trossard. Like I know form is one thing, and banter aside, I love Odegaard, but when you really strip it back, on the best of days, who really do you trust in this Arsenal side for the majority of the season? And at this moment, it's still the same old players. You're like, Nottingham Forest was nothing to scream and shout about. 17-year-old Wanyeri is a lot better than his teammates. We got a lot more trust about him today. Gabriel Magalhaes has been quality. Saliba, okay, he's not quite been at the same heights, but he's still there. Raya's there. I don't know if I said Timber. And then I might have missed one name out, but then you're just scratching your head. Like, there's not enough. There's too much fair weather players.
I think Declan Rice has tried to step up and like.
What do you make of Rice as well?
What do you mean? Like, what do I make of it?
Because he's been spot. I think he polarizes Arsenal fans' opinions. I think there's like three sides of Rice. I think some people are like he shouldn't have been bought for 100 million, which respectfully to him, he's not £100 million player, but he didn't pick his price tag. There's some that got overgas it, and I think there's some that's quite sympathetic because he's playing as an 8, which has never been him.
I think he's doing great. Honestly, I think that he's, especially in the recent weeks, where we are down to our bare bones and our captain is, like you're saying, he's like a flower man at the moment. I really don't know what's going on with him, but Declan Rice has stepped into that position because he's played that role before. He played that role at West Ham. He knows what it's like to pick up his team and drive his team. Like you can see he's trying to do that. In terms of the price tag, I don't really have any thoughts on the price tag because I know that the way market rate sets prices of players, like we've really got no control over that. He ain't got no control over that. And I think actually he's done a great job coming in for that price tag because that comes with a whole like weight
of expectation.
Yeah, like you're coming in for 105 million. I think that was an Arsenal record signing fee, wasn't it? Like
it is.
We've signed a player for that much before. So there's a lot of kind of pressure on his shoulders coming in at that price. And I think he's just put his head down and he's got on with it. Like he's had a few dips, definitely this season. I don't think he started off this season as strongly as we've seen him last season.
Facts.
But I think he's all right. Like I think again, like it's hard you can't put as much pressure on him, as what has been. And again, he's learning a new position. I think he was like playing a 6 position before. Arsenal, he's having to play for 8. He's been learning that since he came. Exactly. So it's like, you got to cut him some slack there. Like he's doing what he doesn't naturally do, and he's doing a good job considering all the other factors. So yeah, and I agree with Christopher. Like when we talk about Odegaard, like I know that as a player, as a captain, he needs to deliver as an individual, but we can't understate how important that link up with Saka is to his game. But
how far does that go, Shirley, though? Because you're right, partnerships are great. But
it doesn't go far. He's an individual. He's a captain. He's a professional. He needs to be doing what he's doing. But unfortunately, we're a system-based team. Like maybe it's not even unfortunate, but we are a system-based team. Like
it's the reality of the situation. We are
exactly the importance of a player knowing that a certain player is somewhere is very important to how we play. Like the importance of Odegaard knowing that Saka's there is important to how he plays, and we just have to that's how this team is set up, and it is what it is. Like so, unfortunately, I think when Saka comes back, we're gonna go back to seeing the best of Odegaard. Seriously, like that's what I think is gonna happen. But
do you think he's captain material as well? Continue what you're saying. I just wanted to before I forget. Like, do you think Odegaard's captain material as well?
No, I don't. I don't think he's captain material because I think obviously I think he's a great player. That's like not in question, but I think his attitude, like his demeanor, doesn't give me captain and I've always thought that, especially like even from when he first got the captaincy, and you're looking at who had it before, Granit Xhaka. Look at the stark sort of contrast, between the two characters. Like Xhaka, he was a hothead, yeah. In terms of like, if he's talking, you're going to listen to Xhaka. I think if Odegaard's talking, you're going to listen to him as well because he's a nice guy. He conducts himself well, like just based off of respect, you'd listen to him. But ultimately, captain needs to put fear into people's hearts. And I'm not talking about his own teammates. I'm talking about the other team. Like when they see him, they need to know that, okay, his energy is what the rest of the team is radiating. Like I'm just seeing, just by looking at this guy, I know the team, they ain't come to play with us today. Odegaard doesn't give me those vibes. He doesn't. Like, I feel like the type of where we're at, we are trying to fight for something, and we need a fighter. Like, we need a fighter as a captain. And I don't think Odegaard is a fighter. Like, I think he just puts his head down. He wants to play his football. Great. You need people like that on the team. I don't know, especially with academy players coming up now. I think this Arsenal team needs something else as a captain. Like, especially when you've got young players and, you know, they're coming up, they're learning from the captain.
Who's been a wonder kid. To be fair, he can help them with that. He's soft. Would you take his captain? Would you strip him of the captaincy? And if you would, who'd you give it to?
Would I strip him of the captaincy? What, like, so next season give it to someone else?
Either next season or right now. And if you would, who would you give it to?
Right now, I wouldn't strip him of it right now. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think he's done anything to deserve that, personally. I think at least he deserves to ride out the rest of the season as captain. But I would take it off of him and I would give it to Declan Rice. Or I would give it to Gabriel Magalhaes.
I thought you wasn't going to say his name.
Nah, those are the two that I would give it to you.
They're trench babies.
Probably more inclined to give it to Declan Rice, to be honest, just because he's had the captain role at West Ham before. He's an experienced captain. So I'll know that if I give it to him, he knows what this comes with in it. But I think Gabriel would make a good captain as well. So it would be one of them two.
I think you're bang on the money, man. I like Odegaard, man. I want to ask you this question, but before that, there was another question. Is it, you know, if we're talking about, you know, Odegaard not having Saka and not having Benjamin White, and yeah, we'll give him some luxuries with injuries. Is he a luxury player? Because on one hand, he's not, because he does all the pressing stuff. But is he a luxury if he needs others to perform?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. It's fair to say that, because when we're saying, oh, like his link up with Saka is crucial to the way he plays. If it's crucial to the way he plays, then you can't just put Odegaard on the pitch and ask him to produce, by himself. So yeah, you can't argue that he's a luxury player. And when our team is firing on all fronts, we can afford to have Odegaard there doing the little things that he does, and it just adds to how we play. But
adds
now,
a bit of sauce to it.
Yeah, now we're starting to see it as a bit of a liability. Not necessarily a liability, but we're seeing it as it's not good enough because the team is down to its bare bones. So somebody like Odegaard can't be effective because we are not covered in all other positions. Like when we're firing and playing our best and the full fit squad, you see the best of Odegaard. Like, and I think that is
when the sun's shining.
Yeah, so I think because of that, you can deem him as a luxury player. Then, like, you can deem him as that. But then again, like you said, he starts the press most of the time. Like it all starts with him, and he does play a pivotal part in that as well. But I mean, anyone can do that, really. So I think I would call him a luxury player based on that.
I don't think you're lying. Do you think he should change his role? Because some say he should be playing deeper in midfield.
Do you know what? Maybe because Odegaard loves to go deep and pick up I've seen this guy go so deep to pick up the ball. I'm like, what are you doing there? Like,
that's why it's such a joy to watch. He's a lovely footballer, man.
Yeah, honestly. He does a bit like this. What I'm saying, but when he's got the freedom and when the team has just reached us, I don't know. When we're playing at a certain level, you see him having the freedom to do whatever he wants to do. If he feels like he wants to go to drop deep, pick up the ball, he's got an idea of what he wants to do with it. Like, cool, let him do that. But sometimes, I feel like because of how deep he does come to get the ball, maybe he should be playing deeper into midfield. But then again, it's the if factor. Like, let's say if you've got a Saka on the right wing, you want Odegaard a bit further forward because you want that link up. So I don't know if he should change his position. I just think it depends on the team around him. Like, to be honest, like, yeah.
What do you make of this question? Is Arteta good enough to win major honours at Arsenal despite the ownership's lack of ambition?
Is Arteta good enough?
I think that's a good question, by boy. Shout out to him. He's always here. It's a good question, $1 million question. I'll say my bit. I say yes and no. I would say yes because you've shown me you can get us to a point. And the reason why we haven't got over the line could indirectly be due to the ownership and the board and recruitment and jazz. But I think there's a lot you need to address. I think you're the issue. There's plenty of reasons that you haven't addressed as to why we haven't got over the line. And then at the same time, I do caveat that with, I do think Arteta seems a bit spoiled. Like he's not a Jurgen Klopp kind of guy going to work with what he's got. There's obviously elements of him working with lesser players or homegrown players, but we keep hearing he wants Nico Williams, he wants Isaac, he doesn't want to deviate, which with this new sporting director, hopefully, but that's bougie to me. If you can't get a trick out of some shit players, then where are we? And he clearly believes he can because he signed a new deal, but where would you be at with it?
Do you know, one thing I agree with, about like one thing I agree with is that Arteta does need to change some some things about like how he operates. I think one of the things I would say is that the type of players that he likes and that he's willing to work with, because I feel like this getting over the line, we need a certain type of player in our team that we don't have yet. Like we had one when we had Aubameyang, you know.
Still ain't replaced him or Granit Xhaka, if we're honest.
Exactly, but we don't have this type of player anymore. And what I'm talking about is like a specialist player, like a specialist player that you know that this is what they are, this is what we've signed them to do. Like even just like Haaland. When City signed Haaland, they knew that they signed Haaland.
There's inevitability.
Feed him the ball, feed him the ball, and he's gonna tap it. However, he's gonna score. He's gonna do it from the box, in it. That's where he stays. That's why we signed him. We need a player like that at Arsenal, but those players usually come with big price tags, and they usually come with big character. And I don't afford that. Oh, you cut out. I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
And no, just to piggyback of what you were saying, like, can we even afford that?
I mean, if we can afford 105 for Declan Rice, we can afford it. But I think that can Arteta afford it? Can Arteta afford a big player coming in? I don't think he likes to work with players like that. And I've seen that since Aubameyang, we haven't really made a signing of a player that's like established, you know, out there, that brings their own kind of fandom with them. Like we've really moved away from players like that. Yeah, like we've moved away from players like that since the whole Aubameyang saga. And I feel like Arteta doesn't really feel comfortable to work with those type of players. Like he doesn't want those type of players. But really, I think that he's going to have to like wake up and smell the coffee, that if you want to get over the line in this league, you need a player like that, and you just better be man enough to pattern that player. Like you need to get him in check. Like you need to get him in check. Yeah, a maverick. That's the one. Like you need to get him in check. Like, because and I feel like that's what Arteta kind of shies away from. Like, and I think if he's willing to change that, if he's willing to kind of really specialist, I guess, high profile players, and change the way he works and change his man management, you know, style, the way he's been doing with these kind of players that are not experienced. What does this person mean by this?
She is going to learn the hard way. She ain't quite at the stage we're at yet, man. You still got a bit of hope and optimism.
Listen, you have to have hope, man. You have to. If we don't have hope, why do we do this? Why are we here talking about Arsenal if we don't have hope?
Because I'm in a toxic relationship with this football club. I love it.
But you're in a toxic relationship. See, I refuse to be in a toxic relationship just yet. Like, I don't want to.
I thought I was the deluded one. You are in one. You support the same club as me. You are in one. They just keep telling you they're going to change, and you keep falling for it.
You see how it's been getting warmer outside and the sun is shining?
There's a difference between men and women. I can't lie. We see things for what they are. We see things for what they could be.
Outside, and the flowers might bloom for Arteta next season. You don't know. Like, this is what I'm saying. Just give him one more season, and we can then, you know, we can be judge, jury, and executioner after next season. I think that's fair. But anyway, I lost.
Don't you feel he's on borrowed time? Arguably, I'm not saying it should be pitchforks and that, but for me, I genuinely think he's on borrowed time. For me, he's on borrowed time.
Now he's on borrowed time, and next season he's definitely on borrowed time. Next season he's walking a tightrope. This is what I'm saying. Like, and he should be walking a tightrope with all fans next season. There shouldn't be one that's like, oh no, it's fine. You know, not Kool-Aid left. It's like the Arteta Kool-Aid that people.
Yeah, now to be fair, I think you're being quite. I think they're being harsh to you, really. I think you're optimistic, but I think you've been quite honest about what's going on. I mean, I think you're a season behind a lot of us in that you're still on the optimism, the one more window thing, but I don't think you're wrong.
I just think because of how much of a like shambles the last summer transfer window was. I'm just sitting here like, surely that can't be right. Like, surely we're gonna correct that, because that wasn't right. That transfer window was not right. If you compare,
I was saying that in January.
Exactly, but if you compare it to the window before that, the summer, it was a lot better window than
it was. But did we do everything we needed to?
No, we didn't, because that's the typical that's where you look at the owners and stuff though. It's the same story that
can you blame them for that summer? Declan Rice for 105 million, Kai Havertz for 65 million. They're not telling him to buy that. Timbo's been great, Raya's been great, and we were still short.
To buy it. And who does the transfer of the money? Is it
Arteta? Them? Yeah, they have to take blame, but like Mikel Arteta has clearly said, I want Declan Rice. Here's your 105 million, make it work. They probably, I very much doubt everybody at Arsenal was unanimously agreed that Kai Havertz is the one. Arteta clearly sold the Cronkies a dream. We'll make that one happen. Raya the same, Timber the same now. Arguably, all of them have worked out to some point, but can you really blame them? Like, he's not telling them to buy, they're not telling them to buy Merino and do this and do that. Like, we know how they operate.
Do you know why you can blame them? Because you're challenging for a league. All gloves are off. You've challenged for a league 2 seasons. I can't even say 3 seasons. I can't even say 3 seasons in a row, because I don't think this season we're challenging really. Like,
so then surely my man's got to go then.
In a row, league. Yeah, we're gonna have to go again next season, but I can't count this season as challenging, because the type of injuries that we had, like from the start of the season, I always knew it was gonna affect our title challenge. Like, I always knew that. But if you're challenging for a league 2 seasons in a row, as owners, like, you need to be spending on City's level. Like, why what are you holding back for? There's a league on the line. Like, you can't be frugal with your money when you've come 2 points off of a league title.
But that's their thing, though. That's why I don't have it. That's why I don't understand why you're a lot more upbeat, because I think this is why I think you're a year behind what some of us feel, because you are right. You're not wrong in that, yeah, there's a league, but they're not looking at it like us from a sporting point of view. They work the way they work, whatever. I genuinely feel they give Arteta what they give him, and you're left to your own devices. They don't care like how we do, Shirley. They're not going to see January and think, fucking hell, we got no players. Here's money. Go overpay for Ollie Watkins or go do this. They've shown they're not that.
But then, if that's the case, then why are we not outside the Emirates right now with banners? Because what's going to change? If these owners are still at our club, nothing's going to change, regardless of if it's Arteta or if it's someone else. Like, I personally think I would give the blame to the owners, because ultimately, if you, and it begs the question people asking, if you're running this business, success looks like trophies. This is a football team, yeah. Success looks like trophies. That is what it is, and it's like that for the fans, and it should be like that for whoever's on top. They should want trophies. So if you're not doing everything you can when you've seen that you are 2 points off, like, do you know how sickening it is for the Premier League trophy to be in the Emirates Stadium on the last day of the season? That's sickening.
We do a lot of flirting, not enough foreplay, unfortunately.
You saw that, and you still had a summer transfer window like the last one, and then you still had a January.
And you're still optimistic. This is why I can't it's show and proof time.
Because I'm optimistic, because I think that based on what I've seen from the last seasons with this team and with Arteta, we can win. I still believe we can win a league with this team. I still believe we've got the quality to do it. I just don't think that this season I just think there's been some other factors that have really affected our chances.
City are going to be in the market. Everyone else is going to be in the market to improve. Like, I feel like we've wasted regardless of if you win the league or not, we've wasted these 3 years.
100%. It's this summer or never, like, for real. It's this summer or never with Arteta. Like, you get the signings right, you go again with your team. Like, with all the foundations and the groundwork that you've laid, you go again. But if that doesn't work, I think we might need to rip it up and, like, kind of go back to the drawing board. Basically, that's all I'd say. But ultimately, if you're saying that, oh, well, the board, they've shown time and time again they're not going to change this, they're not going to change that, then really we're all wasting our time here, and we need to be doing everything we can to get those guys out.
I'm at the, that's where I'm at, but I'm at the point where protesting ain't changing shit. The gaffers stay in, the
how
players
we
are
get
staying.
out then? There's no other way.
All there is prayer. All there is prayer.
Oh.
And it's I'm at the acceptance stage. If they win a league, great. I'm happy as Larry. If they keep doing what they're doing, it is what it is. Now I count my blessings, of course. We're not where Spurs are. We're not in the mess of Chelsea. We're not in the mess of United. But I just feel we've wasted our opportunity. Obviously, I think we should have won at least one of the 3 Premier Leagues, including this year. But we could have done a 3-peat. We could have done we could have won a couple domestic trophies and a league title. We could have retained the title. I just feel we're messing up what we have. Like I say all the time, Liverpool's the real managerial job for slots. It started, but it starts next season. They're at the pinnacle. The only way is down. 3 key players' contracts are running out. They've done him dirty in the transfer market. And naturally, because people know his brand of football having a year to go off, he's going to have to rework things. But tomorrow's problems are tomorrow's problems. 2024-25, Liverpool have etched their name in history and they're still on task to do a treble. That's where I feel, to a degree, a lot of what is said about Arsenal and Mikel Arteta is kind of out the window with Liverpool. I know a lot of people are moving the goalposts. They writ Liverpool off for the league. They writ them out of title, top 4 challenges. And now they're saying, oh, well, he didn't have to change that much. They've got all of these players. And I'm not even making this an Arteta or Arne Slot thing. I just look at Arne Slot and think, right, you've been a manager longer than Arteta. You've won an Eredivisie. Arteta talks about fine margins, right? So what is it that Arne Slot has learned in his managerial career that's just that he's learned that's just helped him a bit at Liverpool to get over the line? Where versus at Arsenal, Arteta is gonna do good things, he's gonna do bad things, he's learning on the job. And I don't disagree with that because he's in the job for 6 years, right? But at the end of the day, it's Arsenal FC, not Arteta. Right now, Arteta, I don't believe in all that Arteta is going to walk if he's not being backed. He's not like Conte. It's not like Carlo at Everton and Spurs, where I am a proven winner. I need to win. You're not giving me what I need. It's a relationship of convenience. Arteta manages a massive club. These men are getting him top 4. They keep it moving.
Yeah, I think the problem is that, like, the difference between, and I don't even think there's a point of comparing Arne Slot to Arteta, but I think the problem is that Arteta hasn't, before he took this job at Arsenal, like, he doesn't have any range. Like, he's very coddled and he's very
spoiled.
Yeah, he's very like
I like him, but he is spoiled
in that sense, where he's come into his first job as a manager, and I feel like because of that he's been guided a lot, he's been protected, he's been like given kind of a lot of leeway, the benefit of the doubt, like a lot of things that would happen. It's like, oh, this is his first job, like, you know, he's done the job, it's a massive club, blah blah blah. So, you know, he's always kind of had that on his side. Whereas I think with Arne Slot, it's like he's experienced different leagues, different teams, you know, like, and Arteta lacks that. Like, if there's anything that he doesn't have, if you're comparing him to an Arne Slot or a Conte, it's
or any competent manager, really,
or any he doesn't have range. Whether you can be at Arsenal for 10 years, he's still not
looking like he might.
Maybe, but he's still not going to be on the level of those other managers, even if he's got 10 years under his belt, because he just doesn't have the range. He hasn't worked with different players, different boards, different fans that behave in a different way, you know, coped with pressure coming from, like, and that's been kind of put to him.
Internal pressure from those above, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, he hasn't dealt with that, whereas he's just come into this club. It's his first club. The board, kind of took him on as like this baby manager, and I've been guiding him ever since. And that is why he will never live up to those managers unless he leaves Arsenal, goes and actually gets his experience and does his rounds, and then comes back as an experienced manager that has range. But he doesn't have that. So I think that's always going to be the difference. Even if he's at Arsenal for 15 years, you can't compare him to those managers because it's just a coddled, like, it's a convenient relationship, like you said. And I think that's probably why he won't walk. But that's why I said before,
what a sweet gig,
if he was yeah, exactly. But that's why I said before, if he was the type of guy that said, you know what, I'm the truth, I want to take Arsenal to this point, you lot are not, you're not trying to, like, you're not on the same page as I am, I'm leaving. If he did that, he would have a lot of my respect. Go leave and go manage somewhere else where at least you know what you're getting, you know what you signed up for, and you know your level in it. But don't come, you know, don't be at Arsenal if the board are not going to, because he played for Arsenal as well. So I know that he's got a connection to the club. I
He was
do
a
believe that
sideman then times. That's why he's making sideman decisions at times, unfortunately.
Listen, I don't agree that just because a player wasn't like the best player that they wouldn't be a great manager. Like I
No,
don't
100%. Or Henri would be the gaffer.
exactly. So and we know how that's gone for him, innit? Like so, but I feel like I feel like he does have a true connection to the club and he does want to see the club doing certain things. But if he was actually standing on business on that to the point where he's like, I'm not tolerating the board giving me a window like January. If that happens again, I'm out. Then he'd have more of my respect. But I don't think he's going to do that.
I think you're bang on the money, man. I do think Arteta has done a lot well, but unfortunately, he's not getting us over the line. I do think Arteta is going to go after and have a great managerial career. That being said, I'm only interested in you doing it at Arsenal. I don't really care if you win champs and prems or don't or get relegated or whatever you do beyond this football club. I don't care. And that's my biggest fear, in that you're going to learn what you learn here and then F off. I've got two things to ask you before I let you get out of here. Yeah. If we go back to transfer stuff, how confident are you? Apparently, there's rumors that Arsenal already in a contract offer for Saliba. How confident are you that we're going to get him to sign a renewal?
I'm not confident. I think Saliba loves being at Arsenal, but I think Saliba loves being at Arsenal, but I don't think that it's enough. Like I think, you've got Real Madrid sniffing. If this guy doesn't win, like, how long has he got left on his contract?
2027, so 2 years, give or take.
If I'm Saliba, I'm not signing this contract this season. Like I'm looking at that contract.
I'm not in a rush.
Next season, exactly. I'm looking at that contract next season. We'll see. Like I'll entertain them talks then and see where we are. Because really and truly, if Saliba doesn't win anything next season, I don't see him signing another contract for Arsenal. I don't. I think he's entertaining the Real Madrids of the world.
All them French players are talking to 100%. They're WhatsApping him, telling him how great it is over there. Exactly. Not that you need to be told how good Madrid is.
Exactly. So I think if he doesn't win, even if it's like a League Cup, he needs to win something to know that there's hope and that there's like potential, a trajectory for his career at this club. I don't agree with selling him. Someone just said we should sell him if he doesn't sign now. Well, probably because of the contract situation, obviously, because he'd probably leave on a free if he runs down his contract. But yeah, I mean, if you put yourself in Saliba's position, why would you sign a contract now when you don't even know what the window is going to look like at this club?
Exactly.
Like, I wouldn't.
The players surely got to be questioning the direction of the football club as well. Obviously, they have to all take personal responsibility, but they're not idiots. If me and Shirley and you lot in the chat are waffling about how people are injured and where we're going as a football club, they're in the change rooms. Like, we know Saka's a good player. Them not know better than us. Saka's a good player. They train with the lad. So you are questioning what the recruitment's doing. Like, it's a phallic. It would have been romantic with all the referee decisions and red cards and small squad and all of this if we still made it a fair go of challenging Liverpool and getting over the league. But it's a romance, it's a fallacy, and I don't know whether people have it as naivety, incompetence, gross negligence, stupidity, or all of it. Fundamentally, apologies. Winners win and losers explain. My last thing for you is probably something close to your heart, yeah, and it does. And I wanted to ask you about, because I know you're very articulate with these things, and me and you have spoken before about how football and morality is kind of a blurred line. Apparently, the Daily Mail are saying Arsenal are considering dropping the Visit Rwanda sponsorship this summer with the possibility of making an extra 10 mil. What the hell does that mean? But what would you make of us dropping the Visit Rwanda sponsorship?
I'd love it.
So
I would love us to drop the Visit Rwanda sponsorship, because I'm Congolese, first of all, and I don't and obviously Free Congo.
Sickening what's happening over there.
Yeah, I don't agree with Arsenal. I don't agree with them putting money into, and it's obviously nothing to do with the people that are from Rwanda, but it's like the conglomerate, it's the government, it's those type of businesses. It's sponsored by
behind it
anyway. Yeah, so I don't think that Arsenal, as a club that has like a lot of class and has shown that over the years, we shouldn't be dabbling with the likes of people that can oversee such a tragic genocide happening in Congo. And
nothing short of that, people. It really is that.
We can't be putting money into these their pockets. That's like I've wanted an Arsenal shirt for so long. Like, you know, I've been supporting Arsenal for a long time, DG. I could have grabbed a shirt a long time ago, but it's that I can't really be wearing a shirt that says Visit Rwanda. Nothing against Rwanda as a country, but ultimately the
symbolism
money,
behind it.
it's the symbolism, and it's like, why are you sponsoring a massive football club when a lot of this money is blood money, you know? So that's how I feel about it. I won't go too deep, but I'll welcome us dropping that. We could do better, can get a better sponsor.
I think you're bang on the money. I think I'd have to read into the article, but I have to question the morality, because is it dropping it because of what you're saying, or is it because of there might be an opportunity to not only get rid of that and the connotations behind it, but simply make an extra 10 mil. I think fans.
I think it's the money.
It is the money. Fans, you know what? People act like football clubs are moral. You know, all of these football clubs, none of them give a flying monkey. There's money and there's conscience. The two don't interlap. They know what they're doing. Conscience first. I mean, salary first, conscience later. They don't give a flying monkeys, man. So, yeah, if you're looking for your football club to reflect the values of the honest man, woman, regardless of what race, religion, and background you are, people, you'd be sadly mistaken. Like, it mirrors society. People do not care. They just want to be seen to care. You know, the only thing, not that I think it would make a difference if Arsenal was somehow socially cancelled for the Visit Rwanda thing, but yeah, and then it would obviously bring in question morality.
Some people, I remember some of the I don't think they ever did it, but I'm familiar with the girl that was organizing the last round of like the Free Congo protests, and one of their destinations was outside the Emirates Stadium, like
as it should be. But everybody's tweeting that off an iPhone. So if we're really going to strip everything back, there's a deeper conversation to be had in society, because it's all fun and games saying do that, but everybody's tweeting off an iPhone, which you being Congolese know damn well what I'm referring to. 100%. So it's all smoke and mirrors, man. Shirley, I've had you here a very long time. I did tell you 40 minutes. We've been rambling.
But I was enjoying it, you know.
You're part of the furniture. You're welcome here. It's not people are going to think you're new here. It's that you're actually not. But...
No, I'm not new. But I need to do better. It can't be that long before I come back. Like, no. Because I wanted to be, you know, when I should have been here. When we were like 6-0. You should have had me here. That's when you should have had me on here.
You used to air it. You didn't want to be here. Don't do all of that. You didn't want to be here. You didn't want to be here. You didn't want to be here.
No, I never used to air it. I just, you know, timings. But we made time. Made it work. I was so happy to do the show today. I can't wait until I come back. Thanks everyone for your great comments. Make sure you hit the like button. I've always wanted to say that, you know, hit the like button, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah, say it. Take us away as we leave, people. Let people know they can find you.
Do you know what? You can find me on Instagram, Shirley Irie. I don't have Twitter anymore because that app is just like
raw.
I can't. Yeah, you know, I had Twitter before, but it's not for me in 2025. So Instagram, Shirley Irie _ I think, and make sure you lot watch all of DG's streams, like the video, comment, and just let him know that Sterling is robbed. If you watch this after we've been live, comment your thoughts on Sterling, and then I'm going to come back and see what people think, because I'm sure people agree with me.
On that note, people, I'm going to say it now. Shirley, it's always appreciative to have you here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't listen to her, Sterling Jazz. We're out. You always just like,